Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is, how do you handle it? What do you do when the mask has begun to fall off of the narcissist? And this might be a covert narcissist, someone who is really sort of a very indirect person, someone who really is narcissistic, unfortunately, because of their pathological sense of self-importance and lack of empathy. So they don't really understand the position, the feelings, the needs of others. They literally really don't. They feel that they are superior to that. They will live by a sort of a sense of self-aggrandizement, just sort of self-promotion. Self-aggrandizing meaning blowing themselves up, their ego, their just sort of how they want to be treated. A covert narcissist oftentimes feels that they don't want to be bothered with everyday things that that are part of a relationship. They feel that they only deserve to surround themselves really with people who can get them places, or that they can take from, who will try to elevate them and really sort of mask what is inside of them. So the whole problem with a narcissist is what you see is not what you get. You are getting a mask, you're getting a facade, you're getting a charade, you're getting a story, you're getting an act, you're getting a script, you're getting something that is premeditated, pre-calculated. It's not natural, it's not organic, it is not, of the moment, it is not in the present. It will oftentimes create a very intense perspective, or meaning that people then idealize the narcissist. In other words, they begin to gravitate or conform and buy into the fact that this person is an authority, superior, has more power, thinks this, thinks that, this is right, this is, and then basically it can be very clear because they do not engage in open and honest communication. You are dealing with a mask. You're dealing with a public persona, or something that betrays who they really are and how they really feel inside. Even about, people that they are engaged with, have relationships with, they keep it all to themselves. They keep it all bottled up. So you're not really engaging with the true of that person. There's like a fly here. Sorry. I got it. One more. Okay, perfect. I'm not sure how they got in. We've got the windows open here today. It's a beautiful day. So let me just get that out. Sorry, that's got 5 little ones. Anyway, you have to be your own sense of comfort when it comes to understanding this. So I want you to kind of get yourself comfortable right now when you really understand really what do you do when the mask drops, when or it's becoming unacceptable. It's becoming immoral. It's becoming not right. It's becoming not fair. It's based on what's convoluted in the head of a manipulator versus what has to do with actual reality. This is known as gaslighting. So part of the when the mask drops and you begin to see, you'll begin to see the type of communication that is included in that mask, namely that of passive aggressive, meaning very indirect, and it's done as a way to sort of resist your goodness, resist your truth, not acknowledge and be open and honest with the way things really are. It's a way for them to basically live in denial and get out of being accountable for their behaviors. It's a way for them to get out scot-free, to not have to pay any consequences, to not have to adapt or adjust. These people are operating with a sort of sense of superiority about them, oftentimes which is unfounded. With a narcissist, their mask is oftentimes founded in deluded thinking. It is founded in denial. It is founded in wishful thinking. how they want to be perceived. It has nothing to do with reality. It is a mask. So you might have been, coaxed along for a long period of time, or given in, or been in a close, what you thought was a relationship with a covert narcissist. Unfortunately, when it comes to relationships, it has to be at a trust level, where there's true and open and honest communication, and you don't have to be worried you're going to be emotionally butchered, that you're going to be, falsely accused, that you're going to be sabotaged, or that you're going to have, negative talk about you behind your back. The trust is violated in a covert narcissist relationship. There is no trust. There is no set of, being able to be confident. Oftentimes people, in the course of the mask, so if you know what to do when the mask drops, you have to understand, really what happened. And they're part of the narcissist problem is that they need to take a victim. They need to scapegoat. They need to create, like putty in their hands, a victim. If there's a group, a community, they have to craft a victim, no matter where it is, whether it's a romantic relationship, work relationship, familial. Someone has to be, quote unquote, the loser, or the scapegoat, the person who is weak, vulnerable, usually sensitive, caring, and usually the most caring, because these are the people who interfere with their playbook. The people who are most caring, who kind of see things, who have empathy, sees what's going on. And so you then present a direct threat to this individual. So you have to realize that's why they're going to try to work very, very hard to keep their mask intact, and to keep what they want, make sure that they will keep you out of whatever it is that they want. It might be superiority. They might just want to be the leader. They might want to be the boss. They might want to be the bully. They might want to be the one in charge. They might want to be the beautiful, the handsome, the rich. They might want to be the strong. They might want to be, whatever it is all about them. It's all about them, no matter what event that you're going to attend. It's always going to be about them. And then when the mask begins to slip, you realize, that you've really seen them, and you're beginning to be now willing to see them for who and what they are. So the problem with sort of when the mask drops, you have to sort of back it up and just have your aha, oh my God moment, and then trust yourself and trust your perceptions. This is a state that the covert narcissist has usually trained, conditioned, programmed, and coached you to disregard. Disregard your feelings. Disregard the red flags. Disregard, remain a victim. If you have suffered, if you have been in pains, this is not how relationships are supposed to work. These are all indicators, that you're trying to save yourself, which is what you need to do. You need to rescue yourself and stop idealizing the narcissist according to the tenets that they want you to perceive them in. We've got like these little flies here. I don't know what it is, but I think that hopefully that was the last one. We're not going crazy here. We're just getting the flies out. But they always need to take a victim. They always need to take sort of someone who is the fall guy, the fall girl. You're just a bumpkin. You're just simple. You're uneducated. You're uninformed. Notice how everything is un. There's always something wrong with you. And this is flawed thinking. This is projection. And it's usually a projection, which is it's a projection oftentimes directly testify to their own lack mentality, their own insecurity, that they are then assigning onto others. It gives them an immediate relief. So, because if you're beginning to, see them in the real, that is a big threat, and they take that as a challenge, and they will begin to fight. So I've said before, you don't ever want to enter a boxing ring with a narcissist. Not even for a minute, because these people are the master manipulators. They've already got their, they sleep with their punching gloves on. They wake up with their punching gloves on. they're practicing their punches before they get in. I mean, these people are the people who are aggressive, and they are fighters. And aggression, notice that the indirect is passive aggressive. Passive aggressive. Aggressive, the end result of aggression is always harm. The end result of aggressive behavior is to injure or to maim. So, it is the end result of this type of communication, which is to be injurious and harmful. So you need to not participate in it. Period. End of story. Even if you feel like I'm not strong enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not rich enough, you need and can stop participating in this lie. Stop, buying the ticket to the loser movie that the narcissist will put on. I mean, just don't go to the show. Do not buy the ticket. Do not show up. Do not sit in the seat. Do not, take an Uber there. Do not, whatever it is where you've gotten into, unfortunately, these are the people who you cannot have in your life. It doesn't matter, even if it's irrational. It is not a good thing. It is not suggested. It is not advised. You need to have an exit strategy. Just period. End of story. Oh, peace and harmony. But this is, where I work. This is where I live. This is, well, that is even more reason for you to have an exit strategy. This is, and you can, yes, you can. If you say you can't, you're coming from a victim mentality. And do not, buy into the victim mentality that you are a victim. You are not, holding up the surrender. You are surrendering from the fight to yourself. You make that surrender to yourself and saying, I'm surrendering this passive aggressive type of behavior, and I deserve better than passive aggressive communication. You have to understand what it is. And so it's an indirect way for them to resist the demands of another, the desires of another. It's a way for them to reject you. Passive aggressive behavior is a very covert way of rejecting and abandoning you. So it's like they're abandoning you in plain sight. It's like saying you don't exist when you're standing right there. And so the passive aggressive, this is why people end up with dissociation disorders. I don't really know myself. I don't really know my interests. I'm not motivated. I feel very apathetic. I have chronic depression, social anxiety. I'm afraid of groups. I'm afraid of crowds. I'm afraid to go to the grocery store. I'm afraid to talk to people, or I get very angry and I have a difficult time talking on the phone. I mean, these are all statements from people who have a victim mentality. They have a lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem. These are all the riches within you that they will rob you of. So do not open the door to these robbers of your soul. Do not open up the gates so that all their negativity can flow in. Push their negativity out, get it out, and build a very strong boundary around you, which defines you. And this is me, and no, this is, if you stretch your arms out on either side, that is all you. I mean, you are all this. You are bigger than they make you out to be. You have to be above it. You have to be calm. You do not fight back with them. You do not become a counterforce to their force, because they will use, dirty fighting. I mean, these are your troublemakers. These are your complainers. These are the people who will resort to anything to get ahead. These are the people who want your job. They want your house. They want your children, or they want your bank account. They want your car. They want you to be their supply. They want you to get them wherever it is that they want to go. This is what narcissists do. They take, and, they surround themselves with people who will get them to where they want to go. They will use others. These are your users of others. So you really have to realize that it's oftentimes not fair or good for you. So you really have to accept that. And stop idealizing the narcissist, because when the mask was on, chances are there was a time when you idealized them, or you wanted to love them, or you thought that they were great, you thought that they were special. These were normal amounts, perhaps, in the beginning. Anybody? And then, but as things come on, the true colors begin to show out. The evil. A lot of our viewers say they are evil, maniacal. The things that they do to hurt people, screw people out of their job, their family, their relationships, their extended family. I mean, it just goes to no end. It will not end. This is what they do. This is what they eat, sleep, breathe, pray. They take victims. Unfortunately, they wish others unwell. So you have to sort of, even though there was this person, you have to have an exit strategy. You might have to move. You might have to no longer be married to this person. You might have to no longer have this as a sibling, a coworker, a place where you maybe play your sports, or your children are playing sports, and they're using, maybe this is someone who's, trying to get your kid knocked out of the team so that they can become the star player. I mean, it just goes to, that there's always these covert agendas that you do not know about, that you oftentimes will find, and then when the mask drops, you need to not be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. It's just kind of like a show, and I don't want to go back anymore. I don't want to see that movie again. It's kind of like the way you have to understand it and realize that there's much better people for you out there. Period. End of story. I mean, if you really need to get that and believe that and know that, and that you deserve trust, you deserve direct communication. If you are having a difficulty with direct communication because you've been deprived of it for so long, then you need to take really, really, really little baby steps. Maybe, casual conversation that's direct, but you don't want to have a direct communication with them. You do not confront. You do not judge. You do not go tit for tat. You don't need to prove yourself right. You don't need to provide more time thinking about them. You don't need to provide any more for them. Stop idealizing them. Become very calm, and just realize that the idealization is a trauma bond reaction. The trauma bond and the idealizing of them is a trauma bonded reaction, and a trauma bond is typified where someone is sort of always keeping you in a traumatized, suffering state, and this is how they get power and control over you. So people end up suffering for years, suffering unnecessarily, suffering quietly, quiet desperation. So get out of that relationship. Just write it off. Cut your losses. Even if it's a big loss, it's a big loss, but you've regained yourself, and that is the biggest win you could ever have. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and for goodness sake, please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace in, peace out, peace be with you, and have a beautiful day.